Well, here we are. The final week of Pantheon. 8 bosses, minus 20 power, legit Riven, an insanely difficult Nezarec challenge, and the Godslayer title up for grabs. I've seen a ton of teams struggling with these two encounters specifically, but I promise that this guide is the one you've been waiting for. I have a one-phase Riven strat for you guys that requires 0 damage on the first 2 floors, and an extremely consistent 2-phase Nezarec strat that completely counters the chaos. I'm Above, and if you enjoyed today's video, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get into it. Since this week is Solar and Strand Surge, the meta will remain consistent from previous weeks, with Cataphract and Apex Predator carrying damage for Golgoroth, Caretaker, Explicator, and Rolk. Parasite will easily one-floor Atrax, and Whisper will cook Oryx as usual. Golden Gun, Blade Barrage, Well of Radiance, Banner of War, and Pyrogale Gauntlets are your go-to subclass options here, and if you guys want more in-depth tips and tricks on these encounters, be sure to check out my last 2 videos for optimal strategies, which will be linked down in the description below. As for this week, we have 2 new bosses that have been added to the rotation in Riven and Nezarec, and as I alluded to at the start of the video, we have arguably the easiest strats possible for you guys. This challenge forces you to do legit Riven, and they did this by reducing the damage that Riven takes on the first 2 floors by roughly 67%. So as you can probably imagine, it's just not really worth doing damage here at all. This means instead of balancing all the mechanics we mentioned earlier, we can insta-pop Riven's eyes each time we get callouts from our teammates, which gives us more time to ad clear, cleanse plates, and make it to the next floor with plenty of time to spare. And the even crazier part is that this is an easy one-phase strategy that requires no DPS weapons at all. Simply save 4 Nighthawks for the top floor, shoot eyes, and get on your plates to pop pimples as you drop down. If done efficiently, the pimples alone will cover around 75% of Riven's health bar, and our Nighthawks will easily cover the rest. For the strategy, we'll be splitting into 2 groups of 3 as usual, with 2 golden guns and a well on each side. You don't need to have 4 hunters for this strat to work, but it does make it easier. If you guys are on Titan, you'll simply need to do a bit of weapon damage on the top floor to make up for what we miss with a Nighthawk. In terms of loadouts, I recommend Lucky Pants with Malfeasance for stunning Riven quickly, machine guns and rockets for spawn-killing Minotaurs and Snipers, and either Sunshot or Indebted Kindness as other clear secondaries. Your hunters will want to loadout swap to Celestial Nighthawk on the top floor before damage, and that's it. With that said, I do recommend swapping to a sniper for the drop down, allowing you to instantly pop pimples and bake the rest of Riven's health bar with ease. Your first priorities in each room should be the snipers that spawn on the top right and left hand sides, with another person focusing on the invisible minotaurs that now spawn at the back of the encounter. One team will stun the boss to get the callouts for the eyes, while the other team ad clears and prepares to instantly pop them when she arrives. Eliminating the damage phase gives you ample time to clear the room, cleanse the plate, then make your way to the next floor. The biggest advice I can give to your relic holder is to turn around and match the POV of the person getting the callouts in the window, which ensures that both of you are on the same page. Repeat this strategy on the second floor, and when you reach the top, focus on team-shotting the ads and getting eye callouts as Riven rotates around the room. And after you've collected the 3rd set of callouts, simply pop your Nighthawks, shoot the eyes, then drop down and pop pimples for an easy one-phase. Next up, we have Nezarec, which has gone from the easiest raid boss in the game to arguably the hardest overnight. Nez is now far more aggressive, and we can no longer DPS on plates due to a pervading darkness mechanic that now triggers after standing on the same plate for more than 7 seconds. They've also added turnbacks to several popular DPS spots, which means we need to find a new safe spot to deal damage. We tried doing DPS in the caves on either side, and on both occasions, Nez dove onto our team and either suppressed us out of our supers or just insta-killed us entirely. So for this reason, we found that dealing damage on Nez's platform is actually the safest, most consistent option. Having 2 wells is essential for this encounter, as we'll be using one to keep our team safe during damage, and another to keep our second Warlock alive while tanking boss aggro during DPS. At a high level, we're going to have one Warlock rocking Divinity with Cenotaph for a range debuff on Nezarec, giving us an easy target for our Lucky Pants hunters and a source of heavy ammo during the running phase. Our second Warlock will be running Vexcalibur to glaive block during DPS, which not only keeps them alive, it allows the rest of our team to have a normal, clean damage phase. Both Warlocks should run machine guns for ad clear, while one person runs a blinding grenade launcher on each side of the encounter to permanently blind the shielded Colossus. These enemies will respawn after creating a refuge, so it's not really worth the effort to try and kill them with everything else going on. In terms of DPS, I tested all sorts of options, ranging from Lament to bait and switch grenade launchers, but we found that Sleeper Simulant is by far the easiest damage strat. You don't risk killing yourself on Nez if he decides to aggro you, and it's still a comfortable 2-phase with a few golden guns thrown in. We're gonna start by splitting 2, 2, and 2 as usual, with a runner and ad clearer dedicated to each side. These ad clear focused teammates should also be the ones running a blinding grenade launcher to keep the shielded Colossus under control. Your div user will be in the center of the arena, marking the mini boss that spawns in, while your other teammate uses a sniper to break the shoulders for refuge callouts. When starting the nodes, have your runner and ad clearer both get the initial buff. This allows your ad clear player to make a refuge while you run to connect the nodes, giving us instant safety on both sides once we have the refuge callout. These players can then permanently swap sides after making the initial refuge to avoid crossing back and forth multiple times. Your runners should wait to grab the second buff until the refuge has been made, at which point they can go about connecting the first 3 nodes without disrupting themselves, and then help out with ad clear as they head over to the first refuge. Hang around the plate until Nez begins to glow, then hop on and grab the buff and head back to doing your jobs as normal. After successfully using the refuge, Nezarec will teleport back up top to the boss platform, at which point he will spawn a Void Tornado attack that can easily kill you if you're not paying attention. So you'll want to team shot this as a group and make sure it dissipates as quickly as possible, at which point you can finish running the nodes to start DPS. It's worth noting that you don't actually want to finish the nodes until Nez has jumped down from the boss platform, as he can get stuck up there and mess up your damage. It is at this point that your 4 DPS and div players will head up to the boss platform to clear ads, while your glaive user hangs out in the middle of the arena near the center plates as they prepare to bait the boss. You'll notice that well paired with a glaive allows them to consistently tank boss aggro, while the rest of your team does DPS as normal. It's worth noting that a Stronghold Lament user can also achieve similar results when baiting the boss, so it's totally personal preference. And as you can see here, this sets you up for an easy 2-phase kill and limits so much of the chaos in the process. Well guys, I hope you found this guide useful, and if you did, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And as always, be sure to swing on by the stream for week 4 Pantheon helps all week long over at twitch.tv/above. Anyways, that's it from me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.